Welcome back, team. In today's lesson we're going to talk about how to safely close the distance and exit using some of the things we've already been covering so far. Let's get it done. Hey team, welcome back to the channel, The Sweet Science. I'd like to say a big thank you to all you guys who have liked and subscribed so far. Genuinely thank you from me, and the fact that you're loving the content, that means the world to me. So thank you very, very much. So closing the distance and exiting the distance, what we cannot do in any combat sport is just walk up to your opponent and start hitting, okay? There's a distance that has to be closed. So we need to do that safely and effectively. And it's to do with your feet, but it's combining hands and feet as we go. As I said, I can't just walk in and expect not to get popped on the way in. Okay, so we're going to start working, particularly that jab on the way in so we can get in. But once we're in, we also need to exit and exit safely as well. So we'll go over a couple of things to do with that right now. So footwork, why is it so important? Well, it is your foundation, it is your delivery system, and the people I see that struggle the most with this are the ones who are just concentrating on their target and think that this isn't important. It is. It's how an opponent will identify your weaknesses. If I can't move right correctly and I'm crossing my foot, that's a weakness. If when I'm going backwards, I draw the front foot to the back foot, that's a weakness. Military strategists, what do? They send out a reconnaissance platoon and they go and observe an enemy and find out where their weaknesses are so they know where to attack. And if you've got a weak foundation at any point, there is your point to attack. So just to go over again when we're moving forwards, hands up, chin down, elbows tight. It is a movement step followed by a recovery step. 1 and 2. If I'm going backwards, same thing but opposite direction. 1 and 2. Left, 1 and 2. Right, 1 and 2. If I'm going up the diagonal line, 1 and 2. And if I'm going back down the diagonal line, 1 and 2. At any point you're making any of these mistakes here, you have a weakness in your defense. You cannot be defensively responsible or offensively responsible. If you don't see what I mean, get in front of your punch bag, cross your left foot over your right foot and try and hit that bag as hard as you can. You'll find you can't do it. So it's all to do with these nice movements here, nice and relaxed, not too blocky, not too big steps or anything like that. If you haven't got that down yet, go back to the video that we've done, essential things you need to work on for boxing. I'll leave a link in the description and make sure you've got that nice smooth little pattern first. If you've got that already, we'll move on. So the classic way to close the distance if we're going in a straight line forwards is that jab, jab, cross, commonly known as the 1-1-2. So it is 4 steps and 3 punches. A lot of people do 3 steps and 3 punches. Okay, it's not. You'll find your foundation is broken if you do that. Here's what I mean. So here's how to do it correctly. Movement step, recovery step, movement step, recovery step. Look again, I'll count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. What most people do is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. They leave that back foot. Okay, so my stance is now stretched. My foundation is broken. That will make you lean on the punch. Because if I'm here, 1, 2, 3. If you notice where my left hand is, if I keep my head above my hips how it should be, now my stance is stretched, that's not as far. So I have to lean. My hip is locked. So you need to bring that foot with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll just do it at the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 steps, 3 punches. Don't rush this, guys. It's when you rush it, you see people, they're concentrating on the punches and they go and leave that back foot, your hips all left behind, you're leaning forward, you can't rotate, you're losing power on what you want to be your power shots. Obviously southpaws. You would have your right foot forwards and your left foot back. It's the same thing. It is a movement step, followed by a recovery step, movement step, recovery step from there. Jab, jab, cross. Or from us orthodox people, jab, jab, cross. Okay? Lots to work on. There's a lot to think about with that. I want to be sending out a good jab. I want to be making sure I'm not going heel toe with my feet. That's putting a brake on the movement. Okay, that's a brake. Yeah, onto the toe. Want to make sure this leg is closing the same distance that this foot moved. If I'm going big step, little step, effectively, I've broken down that foundation again. So there's a lot to think about. I urge you to take your time. Urge you to film yourself as well. For this reason, I've got guys who train here, very, very good guys and ladies who still don't quite get that foot pattern perfect. Perfect is a big stretch, but the common ones you see, if I do it facing the camera, that foot goes over there. I'm now on a tight brake. Or way too close. Okay? Film yourself and have a look at your feet. Don't worry about what your hands are doing so much at the moment. But getting in behind that punch stops you just walking in to one coming from your opponent. Have a practice at that, guys. So let's talk about another way we can move forwards with a level change. So we're hitting head, body, head as well. Now I haven't gone over this punch with you yet, but we have gone over the mechanics of a jab. So if this is my safe position on my jab, so my hands on my chin, I'm fully rotated, so my my shoulder is protecting my chin as well, my elbow is tight from here, then I don't want to jab to the body like that. Yeah, you can see my chin's open and everything here. So if this is my safe position for my jab here, this is my safe position for my jab to the body. It's just a level change. So if we can move forwards with that pattern, 4 steps, we can do a jab to the head, jab to the body, and a cross to the head, as long as you're prepared to level change from there. The feet are exactly the same. Movement, recovery, movement with a level change, recovery. And effectively, of course, what's your opponent got to do? They've got to do some kind of defense up top, defend the body. If they're one of these horrible people that drop their hands to defend the body, oh, you just landed a good punch up top. Yeah. Jab head on the step. Bring the back foot in. Jab body on the step. And as you do your last recovery step, jab head as well. So your movement is doing this. It's a tricky one to begin with. Take your time with it. Practice. Of course, we have spoke about move your hands, move your head, move your feet as well. Don't worry about that just yet, but if you can already do that drill, think about your exit as well. Move your hands, move your head, move your feet. Another way of exiting just from that drill. It's a great little combination to try and add to your arsenal from here. Slow it down. And practice. Make sure you've got all your body mechanics going, all your rotations, you're keeping your drills tight. Big problem when people start racing ahead, you get this sort of thing happen. All gone horribly wrong. Slow your drills down, nail them down, take your time, add the speed. It will come. Brilliant drill to practice. Go shadow box it. Again, that can be with any combination. We've spoke about a jab cross, hook cross. Again, good stance, toe heel align, hands up, chin down, elbows tight, soft knees, bladed stance. Jab cross, hook cross. So jab, didn't flare the elbow, cross, fully rotation, turn the hand at the last point. When I throw my hook, weight transfer to the back foot. It's done with a nice tight rotation followed by a cross. Great little combination. It's a very, very beginner combination. It's teaching you the body mechanics. But very rarely are you probably going to get a chance to stand there and throw those 4 punches and your opponent not move. So you can still throw those punches on the movement. What you're looking for is a timing. My hand wants to hit as the same foot strikes the ground. Okay? It's what we call hand and foot strike. So if I'm going to do 4 punches and 4 steps, what I'm actually looking for is hand and foot, same time. 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 It takes a little bit of detail and a few things go wrong with this. You then get people start to stamp. Okay, it's not a stamp, it's a glide. What I mean by that is you get people start doing this. It might look silly, but in their head they're trying to get that hand and foot coordination down. But then of course you're building a muscle memory of making that happen. It's a glide. Yeah, all 4 steps, all 4 punches. It's a glide. So work on that, same hand, same foot. Could be done for anybody. If you're just jabbing forwards, same hand, same foot. I'm going to talk about something in a moment which is not controversial, not every coach believes it, and I'll do what most coaches teach beginners to begin with, but explain the reason why. So I've just said about same hand, same foot. Definitely going forwards, 100% going forwards. Until you start to get a bit more advanced footwork, you might want to start thinking about cutting the angle as you throw the jab. That's way down the line yet. Going forwards, same hand, same foot. Jab, cross, okay? Going backwards. If we move forwards 2 steps, we're going to come back 2 steps. Forwards 2, back 2. If you're going to do a push out jab, and I strongly suggest that you do practices, it is brilliant. I love this, I do it all of the time. A push out jab, it's a defensive jab. What I'm really doing is I'm owning that real estate between yourself and me. Okay, so I'm coming forwards, jab, cross, and I'm just owning that so you can't close the distance down on me. I'm not really trying to like make a hard connection with you, so that's okay to throw that on the right foot. So if I left if southpaw, so movement step, jab, recovery step, cross, and I'm going to throw the jab back out as I move my right foot backwards and do the last step. Do it super slow. Notice how the hand comes back to the chin as the recovery step happens from there. What I've effectively done is closed the distance safely and recovered the distance safely without allowing you to come forwards and get into range on me. Looking close at the camera from here. Yeah, I'm in and out, all at arm's length from there. Very, very good drill to practice. And if you're using it on a bag, and I'll do a demonstration in a moment, you have to remember that last punch isn't really, I'm not trying to snap your head back with that. I'm owning that real estate between you and me. In and out safely from there. Let's just go over to the bag and see what that looks like. So closing this range and recovering it with that 1-2-1, moving forwards and backwards. You can see here, I'm out of range. I'm a little bit too far away for that big step now. And here's the reason why. If I do this in one step, my foundation's broken. So your jab is also your range finder. I'm a bit too far. I want to be just on that edge of range. Yeah. I've moved a whole step forwards. So now when I step forwards with my good space step, you'll find I'm able to hit the bag. So I'm going to go jab, cross, and I'm going to do my recovery step with a push-out jab. So I'm not really trying to snap your head back with that. Jab, cross, push-out jab on the way back. Try and nail that as much as you can. You'll have a lot of success with it. Just own that distance between you and your opponent. It's a great one to work your timing with your feet on your bag as well. Don't have to be doing it too hard, as long as you're getting your feet to land with your hands. However, here's where it differs, and some coaches may argue with me on this and some may agree with me. That's a push-out jab. I'm not trying to get any power on that at all. As I said, I'm owning real estate. If you're going to move backwards and try and put some power on that shot, you're going to go back to same hand, same foot. Now, this might be a little bit advanced for you. However, keep practicing. I remember when I first taught this to our juniors, they were trying to... I can't do it. I call it a ghost step. So we're going to move forwards with our jab cross. Movement step, recovery step. If I'm doing a push out jab, I do the jab and on the next movement step. However, if I want to put some power on that jab, I'm going to ghost step first. So now when I throw my left hand, my left foot's coming in from there. So instead of jab, cross, jab, you actually get jab, cross, step, jab from there. Jab, cross, step, jab. That's if I've got to give up ground, I want to take a pound of flesh with me, okay? So while I'm stopping you coming in, if you are coming in, I'm going to take a pound of flesh for you advancing on me. And of course you could make that a 1-2, 1-2. Jab, cross, step, jab, cross. The reason why I bring that up and what I don't like about the more traditional way that this is taught, if you try this, I think this feels really weird. So if I go traditional, so jab, cross, left hand, right foot, right hand, left foot, that locks up my hip. I don't like that at all. That just feels really weird to be throwing that. However, and it's definitely not powerful either. If you can master that ghost step, so you've got same hand, same foot, you'll find that you can punch with intent going backwards as well. However, if you really struggle with that, don't worry for now. Keep working your timing with your feet and trying to get your hands to land with your feet. That's what's more important when we're talking about closing the distance safely and effectively. Okay team, once you have the ability to hand and foot strike at the same time, the possibilities are endless and limitless. You can change lanes in the middle of going forwards. You can go forwards, change lanes and go forwards again. Any push-out jab can put you in any direction. What I mean by that, coming forwards, jab, cross. If I now do my footwork pattern to the right, I'm going to stick that jab out and change. I can do exactly the same thing if I go to the left. Jab, cross, jab, and move from there. When doing that, if I do this towards the camera, look, me and you, we're on lane 2 right now. If I come forward with that jab, cross, 1, 2, and then if I just step my foot to the left with a 1, I can put that 2 on the end and we've changed lanes. Okay. We can do the same thing moving to the right as well. So when you're shadow boxing, what a lot of people do is they don't really visualize an opponent. What you see a lot of is just kind of this. Just, I feel a bit silly, I'm going to throw an uppercut, well, maybe I'll throw it. They're not really visualizing what's happening. What you should be practicing, and take your time with it, is closing the distance, exiting safely, creating little angles. Imagine where that person is in front of you. For instance, if I move forward and then move to the right, I might want to be going and moving around with my feet. I want to close the distance and change angles to get a hook and exit. Okay, possibilities are endless, but this ability to move your feet with your hands is absolute key. You must have heard other coaches or seen videos or heard someone mention on TV when you're watching boxing that footwork is the most important thing in boxing. It is. It is your delivery system. If I cannot get these punches to my opponent, if I cannot deliver them, there's a big problem. And as I said at the start of the video, if I can't do that on the move here, and I've got to walk in, plant my feet and throw my shots, I guarantee I'm going to get popped on the way in. So take your time. I know I keep saying it. Record yourself so we're not having any of this happen, or any of this happen, or any of this happen. Identify the mistakes, drill out the bad habits, then execute more and more and more your good habits, evaluate your progress, and at the end, you'll level up your boxing. So I'm going to leave you with one last little thought about coming forwards whilst punching, as if you haven't got enough to think about already. Your foundation, your footwork, your fundamentals, whether you're turning properly, whether you're rotating, whether you're turning your hand over the last minute, so much to think about, I know. One last little detail that you might want to think about. So, my backhand, my right in with a glove on, obviously my right thumb is on my chin. If I'm coming forwards, there's a possibility their jab is coming straight down next to them. That's what we call splitting the jab, coming straight down the line and getting hit. You might want to consider just taking that thumb and turning your hand out in front of your chin as you're coming forward. So instead of 1, 1, 2, which is nothing wrong with that at all, you might want to consider just turning your thumb in slightly, then 1, 1, 2 from there. So any incoming attack, you're catching that shot on your glove instead of catching it on your nose. 1, 1, 2, nothing wrong. However, just slightly more advanced hand position, rear hand position. 1, 1, 2 from there. Something else for you to practice as if you haven't got enough already. So there's a few hints and tips and how-tos on moving forward effectively, gaining ground, retreating ground, doing it effectively and safely as well. There's a lot to think about when most people first start boxing. They think it's just throwing hands. You can already see just from the few short videos that there's so much to consider. I hope you found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll answer them. If you liked it, don't be afraid to give us a like, hit a subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and we'll look forward to the next session. See you later, team.